The gavel comes down, and the whole courtroom is paralyzed. Robyn Brown stands up, her voice trembling but adamant, gazing directly into Kody's eyes. She was there for him for all these years, but today, things are about to change. What she has to say will destroy not only his alibi, but the image he has carefully constructed of himself as a husband, as a father, and as a leader. This isn't merely a legal battle, it's the ultimate betrayal, and the reality is about to blow wide open. Do you believe Robyn is finally having it out with Kody for good? Or is this merely another sick game? Let me know in the comments as we head into this explosive face-off. The courtroom is chillier than it ought to be. Perhaps it's the air conditioning, or perhaps it's the burden of secrets weighing down on everyone within. The wooden benches groan as the reporters, old neighbors, and even a couple of estranged relatives lean forward expectantly, waiting for the show to start. Kody's golden curls are slightly disheveled, his jaw set hard at the defense table. He's dressed in a black suit that's too sleek, too artificial, as though he's trying to wear a costume that doesn't fit him. Situated beside him is Robyn, rigidly erect, hands clasped together on her lap, eyes scurrying nervously towards the bench. A year ago, anyone would have taken her to be Kody's strongest supporter, his favorite wife, if many of the Sister Wives viewers insisted. But today she's the star witness, and murmurs in the courtroom suggest a word no one would ever have thought to associate with her name: betrayal. The judge clears her throat, bringing the court to order. Kody fidgets in his chair, scowling at the cameras banked along the back wall. This is not merely a battle in the courts for him, it's public spectacle. His reputation, his legacy, even the way America perceives him, it's all being tried. And then, Robyn looks over at him. Not with love, not with allegiance, but with something harder: determination. Kody mutters harshly, "You don't have to do that. We can still make it right. Don't forget who stood by you." But Robyn doesn't respond. Instead, her lawyer leans forward, moving a stack of papers across the desk. They are fat, bound, and stamped with the sort of official seals that make the strongest hands tremble. Financial statements, property titles, text messages, items that, if revealed, could scorch through Kody's carefully constructed facade like fire through parched grass. And here's where it begins: the destruction. The point at which allegiance becomes survival. The judge brings on the first witness, Robyn Brown. She straightens, smoothing her gown, and makes the long walk to the witness stand. Her stilettos click on the floor, sounding like a drumbeat. The courtroom is quiet for an instant. Aside from the sound, all eyes watch her, some sympathizing, some doubting, some salivating for the spectacle about to begin. When she raises her hand to take the oath, her voice cracks slightly, but she doesn't falter. She swears to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And when she sits down, she doesn't look at Kody. Not once. This is where viewers at home lean closer, because they know something big is about to drop. The interrogation starts basic: where she resides, how long she has been married to Kody, how many children. Her responses are calm, coached even, but as the lawyer changes tack, the atmosphere becomes heavier. "Mrs. Brown," the lawyer introduces with an urgent tone, leaning forward, "can you describe for the court the financial arrangements between yourself and Mr. Brown?" The words hang in the air. Kody shifts uncomfortably. His hand curls into a fist. Robyn swallows hard. She glances at her own lawyer, who gives a subtle nod. And then she speaks. At first she says softly, "I trusted Kody with everything. He told me we'd be partners, that he would protect me, protect my children. But that's not what happened." Her voice trembles, but then it steadies. "Over time, I came to understand that I was not only his wife, I was his firewall. He placed his debts in my name, he camouflaged assets under my name, and he warned me if ever I mentioned something, I would lose everything." Gasps spread throughout the courtroom. Even the judge leans forward. Kody bangs his hand on the table, whisper shouting at his attorney, "She's lying, she's distorting this." But Robyn presses on, her voice steady now, cutting like glass. "For years I remained silent. I trusted him. I trusted us. But when I realized what he was going to do to Christine, to Janelle, to Meri, I knew I could no longer remain silent." This is the type of twist that leaves audiences holding on to their armrests, and one that keeps them watching to see what happens next. The lawyer waves a folder. It contains emails, bank records, even scribbled notes in Kody's hasty handwriting. They are about secret accounts, about vows to one wife while transferring funds to another. And now Robyn is no longer simply a scorned wife, she's a whistleblower. Kody's face turns red. He's leaning forward, his voice rising despite the judge's warning. This is betrayal. Robyn, after everything I've done for you, you're going to sit there and Mr. Brown. The judge cuts in sharply. You will remain silent while the witness testifies. The room goes silent again. Robyn takes a shaky breath, her eyes glistening, and for the first time she looks directly at Kody. This isn't betrayal, she says, her tone low but slicing through the silence like a knife. This is the truth, and it's time everyone hears it. And that's when the first bombshell drops. But trust me, it's only the start. The lawyer turns to page 2, poised to reveal something even more sinister. But before he can utter the words, the judge insists on an impromptu recess. Tension so palpable, it's as if the walls themselves are also catching their breath. Kody hisses under his breath at Robyn, as she is escorted away by the bailiff. You think you can ruin me? You'll be sorry. But Robyn doesn't bat an eye. She doesn't even glance back. What unfolds after recess will make all the difference, because the second piece of evidence isn't just undermining Kody's wealth, it's undermining his freedom. The courtroom doors open, and the atmosphere changes in an instant. Reporters jump back to their chairs, pencils scratching against notebooks, cameras whirring as red lights flash on. Everyone's aware recess is over. But what they have no idea about is that the next half hour will forever alter the book of Kody and Robyn Brown. Picture a man who once had total power over his family, his money, even his wives' names, and then imagine that same man backed into a corner, as the very woman he believed was his strongest supporter gets ready to testify against him once more. This is not another hearing in court. This is a battle of loyalty against truth, love against betrayal. And by the end of the day, someone will leave broken. The bailiff calls out the judge's return. The gavel comes down, hard and ringing. Everybody turns back to the witness stand where Robyn, white but firm, takes her seat again. She does not appear nervous this time. She appears prepared. Kody leans in over his attorney, whispering angrily, his hands slicing the air in anger. His face is turmoil, flushed cheeks, scrunched brow, lips tightly compressed. He wishes to halt this, but he cannot. Not now. The attorney walks over to Robyn. Mrs. Brown, earlier you mentioned secret accounts. Can you inform the court precisely what you found? The room is quiet, even a cough would be intrusive. Robyn breathes deeply. I discovered records of funds, significant amounts of funds, transferred into accounts in the names of our children. But these were not savings for their futures. They were shell accounts. They were places where Kody kept money from the other wives, from Christine, from Janelle, from Meri. A wave of murmurs sweeps through the crowd like a blast of air. Journalists write madly, recording each syllable. Kody pounds his fist on the table. That's a lie. You don't know what I was doing. The judge stops him again. Mr. Brown, a final outburst and you will be escorted out. Robyn doesn't bat an eye. It wasn't money. It was property. Kody passed. The Flagstaff house. Even small investments I didn't know we even had. He used my name to cover his tracks. Her voice breaks. And when I questioned him, he said I was ungrateful. That without him I'd have nothing. The attorney lays a stack of papers in front of her. Are these the documents you're talking about? Robyn nods, tears welling. Yes, those are my children's names. My children's names connected to his secrets. Gasps again. Some people in the audience shake their heads. Others cover their mouths in shock. The judge reads over the documents, her face inscrutable. Then she regards Kody. Mr. Brown, these are serious charges. And if they're true, they don't just accuse you of financial impropriety. They raise a charge of fraud. The term lingers in the air like a guillotine. Fraud. A word that weighs so much more than divorce, so much more than family drama. It's a crime. Kody's face goes white. For the first time today, he looks terrified. Really terrified. And then you remember. This battle is no longer about marriage. This battle is about survival. The courtroom is thick with silence. But not the quiet kind. It's the kind that precedes the storm. Every individual seated on those groaning benches is aware that they're not just seeing something historic, something explosive, but that they're a part of it. Kody Brown, the individual who stood tall with 4 brides once, now sits isolated. being surrounded not by love but by allegations. And at the heart of it is Robyn, the one woman he never believed would turn against him. But what she's about to tell him isn't only about money, or property, or deception. It's about betrayal on the deepest, most intimate level. The kind of betrayal that doesn't shatter reputation, it shatters souls. Home viewers lean forward, because the storm is about to blow wide open. And this is where it gets even worse. Robyn leans forward in the witness stand, hands shaking but eyes fixed on the attorney before her. "You wanted to know why I finally spoke up," she declares, her voice firm now, resonating through the otherwise quiet courtroom. "It wasn't about the money. It wasn't about the lies. It was what Kody did to us, to the wives, to the children, to me." The crowd murmurs, leaning in, hanging on her every word. Robyn's attorney smiles sympathetically. "Mrs. Brown, tell us what you mean." She swallows. For the first time, her voice cracks. "Kody used love as a bargaining chip. He'd tell us we were only worth something if we listened. He said that if we questioned him, if we fought back, God would punish us. He used our faith as a weapon." Her eyes flick towards Kody, who snarls back like a trapped animal. Gasps ripple through the gallery. Even Christine and Janelle, seated quietly in the back, exchange wide-eyed glances. Kody slams his hand against the table again, his lawyer tugging at his sleeve to calm him. "That's not true. That's not how it was." His voice cracks with desperation. The judge raises a hand. "Mr. Brown, you're on thin ice." Robyn's tears flow freely now, yet she does not stop. "For years I kept silent, because I believed that silence was loyalty. But silence was killing me. And when he began using my children as pawns, when he used them to intimidate me into signing things I didn't know what I was doing, I knew I could not let it continue." This is the point at which the viewer at home leans in even further. Because now it's not simply about money. It's about manipulation, power, and trust broken. The lawyer holds a photograph high. It's of Robyn and the children in front of the Flagstaff house, years ago, when the relocation was new and full of promise. "Mrs. Brown," the lawyer whispers, "is this where you were promised safety?" Robyn's lip quivers. "Yes, he said this was our forever house. But behind my back he put it up as collateral, took money out and left me with the liability. He said it was for the family, but it was never for the family. It was for him." The room is claustrophobic now. The gravity of her words bears down on everyone, even the judge who fidgets in her seat. Kody leans in, speaking harshly to his lawyer in a whisper. But the microphone picks up just enough. "She was supposed to love me. She was supposed to protect me." And that's the point of collapse. The moment you see the man who once kept the whole family intact, crumbling bit by bit, before everyone's very eyes. The camera cuts to Kody's face. His jaw is clenched, his eyes eyeing the horizon wildly, and sweat glistens at his temple. He played for years the part of the dominant patriarch, the man who commanded, but now he's a man whose kingdom is collapsing before all eyes. His wives, his children, and the world. Robyn has already yanked back the curtain on money and manipulation, but what she's about to say next will slice so much deeper. This is not about bank statements or boundary lines anymore. This is about the human toll, the hurt, the tears, the broken vows. It's about the lies spoken late at night, and the threats spoken behind doors. And when they spill out in the courtroom, they don't only slap Kody hard, they strike at the very center of what kept this family intact. Hold on tight, because what is about to come isn't merely surprising, it's heart-wrenching. The attorney inches nearer to the witness stand, softening his tone. "Mrs. Brown, can you describe the evening you decided to leave Kody?" The room pivots. The air itself seems to be thicker. Reporters tighten their pens. Christine sits forward from the back row, her hands cradled together. Robyn swallows hard, her eyes welling up. "It was the night he told me I had to choose him or my children." The gasps rise up through the courtroom. A woman in the gallery puts a hand over her mouth in shock. Robyn's voice breaks. "He told me if I didn't sign the documents that put more property in his name, he'd see to it that my older children lost contact with their siblings. He said I'd be the one to break the family up." Kody's face turns red. He pounds his fist on the table. "That didn't happen, that's not true." But Robyn doesn't relent. She's shaking but her voice is strong now. "After all the years of bottled-up anguish, do you know what it's like to have the man you love stare at you and tell you your children are bargaining chips? Do you know what it's like to stay up at night, wondering if you've ruined your kids' lives to save a marriage? Christine can't contain herself. She rises from her gallery seat. He did the same thing to me, she exclaims, her words cutting with rage. He manipulated truly against me when I tried to leave. He threatened to take her from me if I didn't do what he wanted. The courtroom is thrown into chaos. Whispers, shouts, even the judge banging her gavel to restore order. Kody spins around in his seat, pointing a finger at Christine. You're just bitter. All of you. You're twisting everything to make me the villain. But the damage is already done. The jury has seen the crack in his armor, the raw emotions spilling out of the women who once stood beside him. Robyn blots her tears, raising her chin. This has nothing to do with bitterness. This is about truth. And the truth is, you shattered us. You shattered this family. And now the world needs to see it. And in an instant, the courtroom is no longer a chamber of law. It's a theater where decades of hurt, betrayal, and silence burst forth into the light. The lights in the courtroom seem warmer now. The walls shut in. Everyone waits. The judge, the jury, the audience, even Kody himself. His fists clench the edge of the table so hard that his knuckles turn white, as if brute strength will hold his kingdom together. But what he doesn't know, what no one expected, is that the final piece of evidence is about to crash down like a hammer. This isn't just testimony. This isn't just memory. This is proof. Hard, undeniable proof that strips away every excuse, every denial, every carefully crafted story he's told for over a decade. The kind of proof that doesn't just wound, it destroys. And when it's out, there will be no turning back. The judge leans forward. Counselor, proceed. The lawyer clears his throat and holds up a fat manila folder. Your Honor, we'd like to present Exhibit 47. The courtroom erupts. People strain their necks to catch a glimpse of what's inside. The lawyer removes the contents of the folder and removes a stack of documents, contracts, bank statements, and revealing emails. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, he starts, these records chronicle the way that Mr. Brown diverted funds intended for the family trust into accounts in his own name, and in certain instances, spent those monies on things unrelated to sustaining his wives and children. In simple words, he stole from them in order to safeguard himself. A shocked silence ensues. Kody leaps to his feet. That's a lie. Those accounts were for the family's future, not for me. The lawyer doesn't flinch. He flips to another page. Then perhaps you'd like to explain this? He reads aloud. Make sure the property is under my name only. The others don't need to know the details. This is an email, dated 3 years ago, sent from Mr. Brown's personal account. Gasps run through the courtroom. Robyn hides her face in her hands. Janelle shakes her head, muttering, I knew it. I knew something wasn't right. Christine, her voice shaking, leans forward. You lied to us, Kody, for years. The judge bangs her gavel hard. Order in the court. But the room is charged. The gallery hums. Reporters rapturously pound away at their laptops. Kody's face contorts with fear. This is out of context. You don't know how families like ours function. The lawyer's last sentences slice through the clamor like a knife. No, Mr. Brown. We understand perfectly well. This wasn't a family thing. This was about control. The judge inhales a deep breath, looking around the courtroom. Based on the evidence before us, the court will proceed with sanctions and review whether what Mr. Brown has done constitutes criminal fraud. The room erupts in gasps once more. Kody falls back in his chair, his formerly rock-hard confidence bruised. His wives look at him, not with love or even rage now, but with finality. Robyn dries her tears, breathing softly, it's over. And in that instant, for the first time in years, Kody Brown, the man who believed he could control everyone and everything, knows he's lost everything. The courtroom falls silent. The sister wives' empire has toppled. The ring of the gavel still resounds, but it is not just a sound now. It's a symbol. It's the crack of a dynasty shattering. The last shot across the bow for a man who felt he was above the law. Flash bulbs pop. Reporters yell, and the world outside the courtroom awaits to indulge in every last detail. But the most chilling silence is within that courtroom. From the faces Kody referred to as family, his wives, his children, the individuals who offered him love, loyalty and trust, and in return, secrets, betrayal, Lies. What happens to a man who builds an empire on sand? What happens when the tide finally comes in? That's what we're about to find out. Because this isn't just the end of a marriage, this isn't just the end of sister wives. This is the beginning of Kody Brown's reckoning. As the courtroom clears, Kody struggles to hold his head high, but the cameras record every stumble in his step. His previously defiant stride gives way to the shuffle of an uncertain man who can no longer remember where to stand. Reporters pursue him, microphones pressed into his face. Kody, do you have anything to say to your children? Mr. Brown, did you really steal from your wives? Did you know about the accounts, Robyn? Robyn stays close behind him, her eyes red and swollen, but her silence says everything. For years she defended him. For years she believed she was protecting their love and their future. But now, with evidence stacked against him, she feels the crushing weight of truth. Maybe Christine was right. Maybe Janelle was right. Maybe all along, Kody's obsession with control wasn't about family at all. Outside the courthouse, Christine and Janelle appear side by side, together in a way they had not been in years. Cameras catch Christine speaking quietly. This isn't revenge, this is accountability. Janelle just nods, her expression stern but sorrowful. We gave him every chance. He chose this. While all this has been going on, Meri, whose life has long been defined by her status in the family, finally has a word with a reporter. People will say it's drama. They'll say it's reality TV. But this is real. This is our lives. And he broke us. The headlines erupt all over the internet within a matter of hours. Kody Brown exposed courtroom bombshell rocks sister wives family. Robyn in tears as evidence piles up against husband. From polygamy to fraud. The fall of Kody Brown. The previously hailed polygamist family is now a public embarrassment, cut apart on talk shows, podcasts, and endless social media threads. Viewers who once watched for drama now tune in shock, aware that the dysfunction wasn't television only. It was wretched, hazardous, real. For Kody, the consequences are immediate. The executives at TLC release a statement. Sister Wives' future is under review. Sponsors start to pull out. What was his platform? His sanctuary now in danger of disappearing altogether. But possibly the hardest hit doesn't come from the public, or the networks, or even the legal system. It comes from his own children, who now voice their words at last. Mature sons and daughters start coming out with statements, describing patterns of neglect, favoritism, and manipulation. Their silent voices, under family obedience, now break forth collectively in harmony. And Kody, for the first time in his life, has a moment of realization that the world he created, the family that professed to love him, has turned their backs on him. The king of polygamy is no longer a husband, no longer a leader, and no longer a hero. He is simply Kody Brown, a man reaping the results of his decisions. Picture yourself standing before a judge, the whole world witnessing, your name being splashed across the headlines, as the personification of failure. Every utterance by the judge is a stake in the heart of your reputation. And when you look around the courtroom, the people you vowed to defend, your wives, your children, are standing against you, not beside you. That's the reality that faces Kody Brown today. The man who used to rule over 4 wives, 18 kids, and a hit TV dynasty, is now a defendant waiting to learn his sentence. His dynasty fell apart, his power disintegrated. But the larger question hangs over us like a storm cloud. Will Robyn, the single wife who held on through it all, finally escape, or will she bind herself to a foundering vessel? The sentencing day comes, and the courtroom is thick with tension like heavy fog. The judge's voice is harsh, unsympathetic. Years of bad financial management, secret accounts, and broken promises hang heavily against Kody. Mr. Brown, the judge starts, you profess to be a man of faith and family values, but the evidence presented in this court indicates deception, manipulation, and utter disregard for those you pretended to love. Kody lowers his head, his bravado deflated. His lawyers had argued for leniency, but the judge's words leave little ambiguity. Consequences are on their way. As the words are spoken, fines, restitution, and even jail time. Gasps resound throughout the room. Christine holds Janelle's hand, the two women clearly on the verge of tears, not out of sympathy for Kody, but out of the relief of closure. For years they had pleaded with him to listen, to change, to love his family more than ego. And now, it's the law who's imposing the punishment they couldn't. Robyn sits quietly, her face white, her hand shaking as she holds a tissue. She had trusted him. She had fought for him. She had weathered fans' scorn and the wrath of the other wives to be with him. But now that the truth is out, she can't help but wonder if she fought for a man who never fought for her at all. Outside the courtroom, reporters swarm Christine, Janelle, and Meri. Christine speaks softly but firmly. This isn't about revenge. It's about accountability. We can't erase the pain he caused, but maybe this will stop him from hurting others. Janelle adds, we all lost years to lies. Today justice caught up, but the true drama takes place behind the scenes. Robyn corners Kody in an empty corridor, her voice cracking. I believed you when you told me this was about us, about family, but was it ever, or was it always about you? Kody in desperation attempts to take her hand, but Robyn moves away. For the first time, tears of defense are not hers. Instead, they are of betrayal. Her loyalty, once as solid as the earth, is now tenuous. The press calls it the fall of the polygamist king. Social media chatters with rumors. Will Robyn finally depart? Can Kody live without her? Or is this the actual end of sister wives, as the world has come to know it? One thing's for sure, sentencing may have concluded in the courtroom, but Kody Brown's punishment is just getting started. Has there ever come a time when loyalty became a jail, where the man you once cherished and stood up for turns into the source of your anguish? That is where Robyn Brown stands today. For years she held on to Kody through tumults, convinced that she was his partner, his equal, his sanctuary. But after the court's ruling, Robyn is faced with a chilling query. Is her love rescuing Kody, or killing her? Millions of fans watch Sister Wives to see a family bound together by religion. But what they witnessed today is a woman destroyed by deception, a wife wondering if the man she battled for was ever deserving of her devotion. And the whole world waits to see if Robyn finally exits. As the judge renders his verdict, the courthouse clears out, but Robyn's mind is reeling. Her marriage, the one she had considered blessed, everlasting, indomitable, seems tenuous, perhaps even fated. The man she trusted has been revealed not only as irresponsible, but as dishonest. To Robyn, the embarrassment isn't merely external. It's intimate. She had sacrificed everything to Kody. She abandoned the first marriage. She disrupted the children. She endured Meri's, Janelle's, and Christine's anger. All for him. And now, she asks herself if she lost her life for an illusion. Kody, always defensive, attempts to spin the picture. Robyn, they're all against me. The court, the exes, even the fans. But you're my only ally. Don't let them take you from me. But his words, once reassuring, now ring insincere. Robyn notices the pattern, how he deflects responsibility, how he positions himself as victim. And for the first time she looks through the cracks in the man she idolized. The Brown children notice the change as well. Dayton, Aurora, and Brianna, children Robyn introduced into the marriage, notice their mother's unhappiness. They pose questions she is unable to answer. Mom, why is Dad in trouble? Why is everyone angry with him? Robyn grapples with how to tell them, caught between defending their father and sharing the truth. While Christine and Janelle observe from a distance, they've always thought that Robyn would never depart from Kody, that she was too loyal. But now they can see a woman who may finally realize the hurt they suffered. Christine speaks quietly in confession. Maybe now she'll see what we saw all along. Publicly, the fans inundate social media with conflicted views. Some sympathize with Robyn, labeling her as a victim of Kody's manipulation, are more critical, accusing her of encouraging his arrogance and keeping him at arm's length from the other wives. Regardless, Robyn is in the midst of it all, loved and hated, pitied and blamed. The crisis occurs at midnight. After the tumult of sentencing day, Robyn sits wordlessly, gazing at Kody across the living room. I can't do this anymore, she says softly. I can't continue to defend the indefensible. If you're not going to change, then perhaps I must. For the first time, Kody appears shaken, not by the court, not by the penalty, but by the chance that the one woman he believed would never leave may finally exit. And in an instant, the question the world has been waiting for becomes front and center. Will Robyn finally opt for freedom over loyalty?